Salamun alaikum. Welcome to this video. My name is Farouk A. Piru, and I'd like to thank the organizers of the Quranist Jummah for giving me the privilege and honor of being part of the team which delivers the online Jummah lectures. Thank you very much for that. It is my honor and privilege. I am from Quranology TV. If you've seen my videos, Quranology is an institute which is still just me at this point, which employs the principle of existential Quranism. Quranism, you know, is the approach to Islam which employs only the Quran as its source of authority. I mean, that's probably known to all of you at this point. But what is existential Quranism? Well, within the house of Quranism, there are multiple approaches to the Quran. In fact, I count at least 15 approaches to the Quran right now. And actually there are more which I have yet to catalog. These approaches to the Quran show the different tendencies in our thinking, and we should respect all of them. But Quranology employs a particular approach called existential Quranism. Existential Quranism is essentially bringing the reader to life in your reading. In other words, personalizing the Quran. We take the principle that the Quran is revelation for now. Every single one of its ayat or verses or signs is for now and should be read in the present. More so than that, we reject the notion that the Quran is a historical text. It may talk about historical individuals, but it is not a historical text. The individuals which it speaks about is for now. It is not for history. It's also not a religious text. It should not be placed with books claiming to be religious texts. It's not a religious text, nor is it a political manual or a constitution. It is instead a text for human beings to exist in the world in the best and most potent manner possible. So the series which I will be presenting in this Quranist Jummah is called Quran and Human Being. It is part of the deliverables of Quranology, and inshallah, once we have enough of these lectures, which will also be typed up, articulated on paper, we hope to publish them as a collection of essays. Quran and Human Being takes a very bite-sized approach to the Quran. So we will be expounding on one angle at a time, and we hope to shed a little bit of light on the book and keep shedding until you, inshallah, see the book in a greater light. It is impossible, obviously, to do that quickly. It's a gradual process. Some say it's a lifetime process and can never even be completed. I would tend to agree with that. Quranology, as I said, employs the principle of existential Quranism. So the end goal is always application in your life. There is no point in analyzing this for literary purposes. You see the literature, the literary qualities, and you say, wow, that's fantastic, and you never apply it. So there is no point to that. Rather, what we hope to do is to present to you aspects upon aspects of the Quran. And these aspects will somehow help you to apply them in your own life and achieve the result which is also promised by the Quran. So what kind of thing can you expect from Quran and the Human Being? Well, I've divided them into various sections. Firstly, there will be notes about the Quran, just introductions to various angles in the Quran. For example, we could talk about the stories in the Quran, what they represent. We could talk about the address to believers, how many there are, etc. So these are just brief notes introducing you to various aspects of the Quran. Then we may do a detailed word study. For example, the word iman, or faith, or conviction. We could study this in detail. That's actually a pretty large word, and that will require months, if not years, of study. But we will present them to you bite-sized, one aspect at a time, which you can apply in your own time. Then we may also do chapter overviews. I did chapter overviews for Quranology TV, but that was pretty rushed because I was trying to fit it in with Ramadan. So in this case, I will do it in a very slow way, presenting to you unique aspects of every single chapter. We may study personalities like Musa or Ibrahim, or groups like Bani Adam or Bani Israel. But the point to remember is this: these aspects will give you principles which you are then to apply. The whole point and purpose is application. You need to apply it in your own life. So how does that work? Okay, well, this is what this introduction is for. Last week I did a brief video on Bani Israel. Bani Israel, also known as children of Israel. It's commonly thought to be historical Jews, but as I said, we don't read the Quran historically. There is no evidence in the Quran to suggest that they are Jews. In fact, the Quran suggests to the contrary. They are actually all human beings. The first time Bani Israel is mentioned in the Quran is from chapter 2, verses 40 to 46. And this is a brief set of principles to Bani Israel for them to achieve Jannah fil Ard, or garden on earth. So, with this in mind, once we have imbibed the principles within ourselves, we need to ask ourselves, how do we apply that in our lives? I mean, we may live in we all live in the postmodern world, and that is a concern for us regardless of when we live in. We do want a Jannah fil Ard, or the garden on earth. Well, God is giving us the abbreviated principles. I think the full exposition of the principles are in the next passage, which is chapter 2, verses 47 to 103. But this is verses 14 to 46 represent the abbreviated principles of how to get there. So once we read this, we should ask ourselves, what are we doing for this? Are we bringing this into our own lives and actualizing or realizing these principles so that they can work for us? And that's if you agree. I mean, you may totally disagree with that interpretation, and that's also not a problem. There are no authorities on the Quran. Everyone has a right to read and interpret for themselves. So this is what we need to do. We need to read and apply for ourselves. And Quran and Human Being, this series, which I've been given the honor and privilege to present, hopes to do this for you one aspect at a time. So with that, I close this video. I look forward to seeing you in my future Jummah presentations, and I hope you will find worthwhile fruits from those discussions. Thank you very much.